When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath a poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
I was going to do a show by myself tonight to talk about certain things, but then Johnny got hold of me and he said, "That's me." And so it's been the talk of the town. I've been talking about it like crazy, and I actually know the guy. So let's bring in Johnny C. G'day, Johnny.
G'day, brother. How are you, mate? How's that, eh?
Good, man.
Unreal.
Oh, yeah, welcome to the cafe, brother. It's good to have you on. There's can I,
Mate,
before we get to that, can I just ask, because I always like to do this, who were you before you'd even heard of COVID? What was your life doing? Because our lives changed.
yeah, look, really seriously. I'd been testing a web radio station here at Phillip Island, and on the 20th of January, we were going to launch. We had 25 businesses and another 10 in line, and lined up, and all we were going to promote them on our radio station, so web radio. So, and we tried to keep it to the same, standard, broadcasting scenario. Not that we were covered by that. And mate, we were on the brink of making a big difference, and those businesses, there's maybe 2 or 3 of them left. And I run into some of these other businesses that have taken the government to court and still dealing with that, with the loss. There was 2 that I know, but one lost $250,000 just setting it up, and that happened to them at the start of Jan. So yeah, all we did was was basically our aim was and aim will be, and is to basically support local communities, small family businesses, and take advantage of all the visitors that come here to Phillip Island, which is really unique because you have over 3 million people and you have some very big major events you can take advantage of. And always been a community guy, but yeah, I've been following a lot of what you do. And you might not be the goat, but you're the boat, mate. The best of all time to do what you've done. I really appreciate it. You're not a. I'm not a fan. I admire the work you do, and I think before the 10th of December is something that I really think that I don't think I'll be broadcasting on Council Go and Watch those sorts of places in the future.
Well, and something to think about, yeah, the
that's a real
ID,
problem.
yeah. Maybe we get to that next, but first off, let's get to this. So this is
well, that's me driving.
Now, first off, everyone says you're holding up an iPad, but that's actually not right because you can see it's up here, this metal thing that comes down. So you're not actually holding an iPad.
It's not an iPad, right? I am also, now, it might just look like I'm giving the finger, but I couldn't remember if I've done that or not. But one thing I don't like is the AI cameras, and I might have mentioned that, but I don't see how I can get fined $661 for driving the speed limit with both hands on the steering wheel and with a passenger in the next to me. And then they're saying that they're looking at the fine was for having something on my lap and not even in my hand. So firstly, there was nothing in my hand, and whatever it was in my lap. It was not impeding, and I'm doing the speed limit now. And I'm getting more fines and more ticket, more points than someone driving recklessly over the speed limit. I mean, what in the world's going on?
Yeah, look, it's crazy at the moment. Victoria is in such a what do you call it, where they're trying to raise revenue. Look at this. I was in Victoria briefly, and I'm getting on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 19th, 20th. So Balti Bridge to Tullamarine Freeway. That's all it is. Tullamarine Freeway to Balti Bridge. $29.16.
Yep, that's right. Now
$29.16 for using the toll. You know.
Yeah. Have you heard the term that I've started to use in the last probably 3 little broadcasts I'm doing now? They're only, it's quite a small echo chamber that I have compared to it, but I've been using the term taxpayers. Taxpayers, it brings it right along the board. It's not separating everybody, but it also explains when you think about the power of the taxpayer pays for those positions that people will take on, like you and I, to take care of our livability, lifestyle, well-being, our commonwealth, and our democratic utilities like council. And the last thing is, it is actually our duty more so than ever before. This is me, believe it or not. This is how I feel. That it is our duty to keep integrity, to keep the integrity in place of those positions that people hold when they're representing the taxpayers. And this is where it's all gone wrong. And the last point of that is, here in Bass Coast, 35,000 ratepayers. And over the last 30 years, an average of 9 people are being putting questions into council every month. And these guys here at Bass Coast have been screaming about a swimming pool for the last 30 years. Last thing is $1.8 billion 35,000 ratepayers have given their council. 1.8 billion, not from federal, not from state, just from ratepayers. 1.8 billion, and there is nothing. And the reason why is us as taxpayers have forgotten the power of who and what we're doing, why we're taxpayers. And imagine, I don't know, taxpayers gathering instead of a march for flags and stuff. Taxpayers march onto Parliament and demand an outcome, and then to fix and make sure they take care of our livability, lifestyle, and well-being. And if not, anything part of that is technically treason or high treason. You can't sign off to a corporation. Oh, I'll stop. Sorry, mate. I'm going to slow down now. There's more to say about that point.
No, but I think you're right, though. I mean, look, $1.8 billion from those ratepayers' money they want to pool. What would a pool cost? A couple $100,000? You know?
No. They priced it at $43 million, $3 million for each each oval on either side, and another, how's this, another $220,000 on landscaping, roads, and everything else. So there was more money on. There was more money spent that had nothing to do with the actual facilities. And now, just recently, Bass Coast and the 3 councils and all Bass Coast councils have now decided to they did this here at Phillip Island. They've scrapped the swimming pool after 30 years of people putting money in, kids selling their football legendary Tony Lockett type posters for $1,500 to put in the swimming pool, and that kid's now 45. We still don't have a swimming pool, and this is it's because taxpayers, unfortunately, are not part of that. We don't recognise it. It's not promoted how we can get involved. But I can tell you, putting questions in the council and actually contacting your federal and state minister and letting them know you exist.
Yeah, I think you're right, Johnny. I think we have to get active. These people have had it too easy for too long, and they've always been corrupt, and we knew it. But they were sort of skimming off the top, but we were still doing okay. But now everything's effed, and these people are carrying on as though business as usual. No, business isn't as usual.
We're a revenue gravy train, not people that they have to deliver the livability, lifestyle, well-being, take care of our democratic utilities and Commonwealth. I need people to understand that point, and it's taken me a while to understand it. But then I watch people like the work that you guys do, and that's another point. This is where it is so powerful. There is a third that are either part of the the third of taxpayers either liking what they are working on this sort of outcome. There's a third that aren't doing, sort of hoping it'll go away, and then there's the other third, and that's us. And I think we need to realise that, remember Epic, remember all that, remember what we were, remember what we learned, what we went through, where we've come from, where we've come to. And now it's time, maybe just this one more time, maybe even through this, the example that you're talking about with the AI cameras. Maybe that's just the example of how bad it's going to be in the future and for our kids. And this is just a point of a percentage of what is coming with the digital ID and the social credit score. The banks are showing it anyway. You can't, they question everything you take out.
Yeah, I'll just show you some things. This came through to me today. You'll be able to see this reel. Anyone 13 and older, anyone 18 and older. So that's what's showing the reel. So they're obviously getting ready to do it, to bring in this age verification thing. This was sent to me. Hey, Cafe Locked Out, are you aware of what they did yesterday through MyGov NDIS portal? I was locked out as I didn't agree to digital ID. If you want to help get the word out, they're trying to make it mandatory. Thanks, Victoria. So I can't verify that, but she claims she couldn't access her thing, NDIS portal, because she refuses to get digital ID.
May I say something?
Voluntary,
May I say something about that?
Yeah, sure.
My gov in the last, since 2022, have been hacked over 45 times that we know of, with them, and the amount and they want to take care of our digital ID.
Look, can you just think about what you said? Because I did a rant about it recently, because a young man contacted me and said, I've been hacked, my gov's been hacked, all the things they did in seconds. So they're constantly hacking MyGov. So you're right. MyGov is supposed to be secure. It is useless. It's like Swiss cheese. The hackers must be just wandering in. All these people contacted me from that rant and said that they've been hacked. They can't get into it. They struggle. They got to supply passports to get into it. So it's all that. And now the same people are going to say, hey, we've got the digital ID and it's going to be safe because it's A grade.
Yeah, exactly right. It's mind-boggling, and this is what I mean. So
I think A grade. What have we got? Is it C grade, D grade?
Yeah, I don't know.
But the hackers take the grade as well.
Yeah, I've got some young kids could deliver a stronger security outcome for those guys. I swear it. But
no, I bet.
I mean, and with the acts that they've had, you just don't know what they've got. And gosh, where? Oh, mate, I've got to stop myself because I nearly went on another rant.
Now, can I when did you get the fine? For everyone who's just switching on, this
Okay.
is Johnny C, and Johnny C got the fine for flipping the bird. $661 and 4 demerit points.
Now,
When you got the fine, tell me what happened. This is
look. Firstly, I was driving my partner, my wife's car, and secondly, look, I talk with my hands, so that might look like that I'm giving the sign. Now, it could have been, or I might not have been, but let's clear this up. Also, my hands are on the steering wheel. I'm doing the speed limit.
Well, this is it. Wait on for everyone. Going through this one more time. We'll go through it again before we end for anyone that comes on. So, both hands on the steering wheel.
Both hands on the steering wheel. I'm doing the speed limit, right? I'm not talking on the phone. I don't have a phone in my hands. I'm Italian. My hands move. Look. And yet sometimes I can get like I might be pointing, but I'm not saying I did. I'm not saying I didn't. But the point is,
no.
But the point is, I'm still driving safely.
An iPad, but if you look at the picture carefully, the pole that everyone thinks is this huge iPad in front of his face, which is ridiculous, actually goes up to a fence here. So that's just an optical illusion, you know?
Yeah,
and straight up, everyone watching, have you ever flipped a bird at AI cameras? Kelly does it to every camera she sees. I do it too. But this is a national pastime now. Flipping a bird at AI cameras.
It's my protest on the absolute disdain I have for the for the so-called seems to be unproven, infiltrated, sold out, incorporated government that has failed so much in the last 5 years, and not even one of them has been accountable or transparent. My mate Dan Andrews, I love this guy Dan Andrews, but the thing is, my mate Dan, he hit a guy. Don't say anything, but he hit a guy, 16-year-old, and he was tanked, not the guy on the bike, Dan. And apparently Dan
was out of order, man. He must have been going like 200 k's an hour on that little pushy, and he ruined Dan's day.
Ruined it, right? But look, see, he gets off, and then everything else that happens, like the freedom of information, there was no health advice, and okay, I'll stop that. Anyway, I'll move back because I don't understand why people aren't up. Taxpayers, here we go. Taxpayers need to understand that this sort of behaviour goes against what the taxpayers wanted our representatives to do. There is a very strict box that they must stick to. It's called like a constitutional. There's a law of it. I won't go there. I don't want to upset people. But I'm just trying to say there are parameters. And there are parameters. And if you even decide to even think about suggesting to change those parameters, that is a crime of high level scenarios. But people don't understand it. I'm trying not to say the words because I don't want people to get upset and saying, well, my dad's a lawyer and a barrister. Yeah, but their hands are tied too. Taxpayers need to deal with it. Taxpayers need, judges need taxpayers' help. These people there are good, I'm assuming, and I do know that I seem to think there are good representatives out there. But if us as taxpayers aren't getting behind like a football team to make sure they score the goals that we want them to score, I think this is why the world's going the way this way. But what would I know? That's just my opinion, my friend. So that's how I feel.
It's interesting you're talking about it because I like your opinion. Say Rennick. Now, Rennick is very popular in the freedom movement. Everyone's fond of him. But what we found out on election day, there was a lot of our freedom people doing the booths, handing out flyers. And a few of them got back to me and said when they talked about Rennick, all these people went, who's Rennick? The vast majority of the population hadn't heard from him at all. So he didn't exist. And they didn't know he'd been sacked. And
it's like echo chambers, isn't it, really? And I think the only way to beat echo chambers is staring to a wall. Now they're closing down social media is not going to be something I want to be part of from the 10th if we don't
Right,
do
I
something
agree
about that.
with you. I really want to get to that. I'll probably start that conversation
Sorry.
half month. No, that's a really important conversation. But just now is we're dealing with the fact that a lot of people don't know. I reckon there's a lot of people have no idea digital ID is coming, you know? And
Wow.
I've been trying to tell people, look, you're gonna be in prison. They're gonna have what social credit score system. I think you really want to get people worried, mate. Every time you're in the toilet and you're thinking, I've got my phone, I'll just look at a bit of artistic material, just to pass the time. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to facially recognition your face, mate, and let the
Yeah.
government know you're coming on. So
And
you're
and the
going to
that,
be sitting there with midget interracial sex, and you're suddenly going to go. Government's going to go. Are you sure you're who you say you are? You go. So
right.
that's it.
I wonder if you can use a teddy
Right.
bear for facial recognition.
Yeah, that's right. So if you have a false account where you like to get on and you like to troll, or you like to attack people with this false account, ain't going to happen. They're going to know who
Mm,
you are. You're going to have to
mm.
know who you are. So that's it. The government's going to be watching you everywhere.
And that's this AI camera is just the smallest little example. I think it's the hiccup, and wouldn't it be great? I don't know. I'm ropeable that they even allow this, let alone everything else that I went on about just before.
Mm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah,
that works.
I think we're exhausted in our movement because we've had 5 years now, with all of us, including you, Johnny, banging away trying to show people, look at this fact, look at this fact, look at this fact. Just think, just question, just take a moment and question. But what we're finding now, and it's in the little things that I find it. We went into an op shop. We wanted steak knives, right?
Yeah.
In the bus. And we go to this op shop, and here's these two women. Now, these women look like they've done their life tough. The tough old Aussie broads, in their late 60s, early 70s. And they go, oh, no, it's against the law. We can't sell them. I go, it's against the law to sell a steak knife. And they go, yeah, it's the law. We can't sell them. And they're passionately defending the law. And I just said, yeah, it's a law in a nanny state,
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just went, oh, yeah, well, it's still a law. So you've got these people who have not benefited at all. They've had, hard lives. Here she is volunteering here. And they passionately defend their oppressors. And I see it almost like now the way I hear Australians talking about their politicians, they talk about them like serfs. And that I'm talking about the 30%, Johnny, that we can't reach.
Yeah.
And they talk about them like serfs and that they are lords. So if they decree something, they've just got to do it. You're not allowed to question it. Digital ID, do it. Wear a mask, do it. Just do what you're told. And the really thing that we've got to realize is a survey just came out, and I think a quarter of the people surveyed said they didn't think democracy was that great. And Richard Wollstonecraft, who does the No Goat Show, he says a lot of people like dictatorships. It's not talked about, but they. So to me, I think there's someone like you who covets your freedom and wants to hand over the freedom that your grandfather and your fathers gave you to your sons, which I think is a beautiful thing to do. These people don't think like that.
No.
They just don't think that way.
And unfortunately, the more you realise that, you also realise that's a very weak type sheep, so to speak. But then you got the ones who are just
numbers, man. There seems to be a lot more of them.
Well, because I think because we're all living in that same numbness at the moment, just going through the motions. But I think that the third of us really do need to start being a lot more active if it's either what we're talking about or even just start gathering through creating festivals or a few things that you and I were talking about beforehand. I think
you and I talked passionately about it. Culture. We've got to create our own music, our own literature.
Yeah. Well, it's already out there. It's just it's not being shared. I mean, this.
Right.
How can digital ID be all right for social media when it restrains? I'm going to go on about this. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
It restrains the practice of political activism, lawful political activism, for
Absolutely.
anybody at any age. In the 70s are all the young kids. And this is where, I think, this is where the kids, I think, look, I really think that on the 10th, when all this happens, the kids there'll be an uproar. I really do think, but I think there's a lot more that the third of us could be doing. And look, this is me personally. Can I tell you what I'm doing next week?
Yeah.
You know,
I've just answered the question. Adam, this is Johnny C. It happened in Victoria, Adam. He's driving his wife's car, 2 hands on the steering wheel, driving the speed limit. That's not an iPad, that's the fence behind it. And he happened to flip AI the bird as a political protest. And now he's copped a $661 fine and 4 demerit points. It's effing ridiculous.
it's out of control.
He insulted the camera.
And
What
this
did the
is
camera do? Going, that man pulled the bird up on me. Every second car would have been doing it. So there must be loads of other people out there.
And even if I mean, I'm going to appeal it and stuff, and even if I win the appeal, which I expect to do so, or even go further, but there's all that time that's lost through a mistake.
Yeah.
And so they're probably not going to want to show that, but there has been too many of this, and this is going way too far. They can come into the cabinet of the car. I mean, that's such an invasion of privacy, and should be, as taxpayers, we need to realise we're taxpayers, and all taxpayers pay for those positions of these people making these decisions, and they should only sit within taking care of our livability, lifestyle, well-being, democratic utilities and Commonwealth. That is it, and they're not doing that, and that is where the taxpayers should make sure that either they're dealt with accordingly, lawfully, legally.
Wait till you get an electric car. I mean, if they keep pushing this and you're an electric car, not only would it have photographed you, automatically find you, taken away demerit points, but then it probably would have taken over the car and driven you to the cop station.
Yeah, right on. And on top of that, you're driving around in a mini microwave is what the story is with the EMF coming off. They're saying you should buy EMF mats for the car because of the amount of it that comes from the battery underneath you. So, yeah, I'm not going to put my kids in the mini microwave and go drive up to Queensland in it, And they're not talking about that. Not that they would, They're not talking about that there was no health advice. Not that they would. They're not talking about that there really wasn't any scientific advice. Not that they would. They wouldn't tell you that Dan Andrews made the decision off his own bat and they tried to hide it, because criminals or white-collar criminals, high crime, they're not going to tell you. Matter of fact, a burglar's not going to tell you they're going to burgle their house. But it's funny now. They're coming on TV.
This afternoon, I'm coming to steal your TV.
Yeah, exactly. But no. But they will go on TV and say, we'll pretend to look after you. So we're going to give you these bins to put your weapons in because you guys are naughty people, and you'll put them away, and we'll work. And until their next door neighbour turns around and says, my husband's been stabbed, then the old Jacinta Allen, that really nobody likes anyway, and she wasn't voted in through popular vote. She was thrown in there. Her next door neighbour got stabbed. So now she's saying, I'm going to do something. Guess what? They've done everything for social media. Thank you to the Liberal parliamentarians and the head of the Liberal Party of Victoria releasing some of this information. They've done their social media scenarios and all their stuff they're going to release, but they've not actually put anything together yet. So social media is more important than what they're going to put out. This is incompetence. This is...
Yeah, it is. Incompetence and
communism.
I was in a pub the other day, and the urinals were kegs that they'd cut a section out of, redone them all up, and there was just, they were in a row. They looked shit hot. And I thought, this looks great. And then I thought, I wonder how much they cost, because I bet they cost a lot less than a machete bin. And these had been well engineered, plumbed in.
Yeah,
polished. This is this. And the machete bin was made by prisoners.
See, that machete bin thing, really what people don't realise, and I'm not being hysterical about this, that's fraud. That's fraudulent behaviour with taxpayers' money. Oh, lost smashing that out of the park. You're a taxpayer. You have power. It's up to you. Sorry?
They get away with it. Nobody does anything. I mean, we whinge on here, but why aren't the police investigating? I mean, $300,000 for a charity bin with machete written on.
Yeah, right on. And I think it's taxpayers getting behind the police officers, because taxpayers once again pay for the uniform that they wear and the badge that they're meant to wear for honour. Taxpayers have got because we haven't, and they're going to do what they want. They now become corporate police that run for this. So another thing I know of is, I'm so sorry, but look, government don't sue government. So police aren't going to arrest the government because they don't sue themselves. So if they're not going to sue themselves, they're not going to charge themselves. They're not going to charge themselves. They're not going to arrest themselves. So guess what? Because the government is paid by taxpayers, you see what I'm telling you, people? It is up to us. It's how we do it and how we do it with power. People like Michael.
Here it is. Here. Great here. Borrow. G'day, Borrow. $325,000 a bin. Good money if you can get it. And here's Robert Roach. G'day, Robbie. The prison is in South Australia, Mount Gambier. So how much of that $325,000 do you think the prisoner's got?
Of course not. But
so they got it made for basically free. Oh, yeah, I've heard this. They end up with more dildos in the bins than machetes. You know?
Oh, what an idea. What an idea. Oh, yeah, what a great idea for a protest. And they'd just be hanging out, like overfull. Oh. And right.
They say they've got hundreds of thousands, but I wonder wouldn't it be great to get a whistleblower to find out how many machetes they've got?
Oh, really? Well, show us the hundreds. Show us the hundreds of thousands and show us the disposal of the hundreds of thousands that they're talking about. Lying criminals. I mean, infiltrated. Look, when it gets down to the AI cameras, they are new. We should, and I will be going to court if they don't reverse it. So I'll be putting an appeal into it, which is already happening. But it's interesting because there's a lot more out there that feels the same, and it's just the start. It's just the tip of the iceberg of how bad it's going to get. So I'll do whatever I can and as much as possible as a taxpayer to stamp it out, because us as taxpayers are the ones who pay, even in the courts. It's taxpayers' money. So we're taxpayers and we have the power. We do govern. Taxpayers govern. They pay people to represent us, to take care of our, once again, livability, lifestyle, well-being, our Commonwealth, and our democratic utilities. Thank you, Michael.
Well, the thing is, we've got 27 plus million people, maybe 28, 28 million people, somewhere between 27 and 28. And we're ruled by what? I think someone said 720 politicians.
Yeah, about 800. Yeah, about 800. Exactly.
How the F did that happen? We deserve everything we get. If we're going to, you act like a sheep, you'll get treated like a sheep.
You're right on. That's one thing I've also learned. That's one thing I realise, and I don't know if I see myself as a Christian. I'm not preaching here, so please don't. But me personally, what I've learned is people who believe in Him is the ultimate anti-evil, because that's where it's from. And really what we're in about, and what all these people, every one of us, 100% of the taxpayers, it's all about love, good for our family, to make sure we all have a common goal there. But unfortunately, there is an evil out there. There is an evil that's opposite, that doesn't want us. And so much so that are happy to see us fight against and not realise, without making it too focused. So there is an evil, and that third that went to Epic, and that wasn't even the third, but there's a lot more that couldn't make it that would have been there.
Oh, yep. 10 people there. For every one that was there would have been 10 people who wanted to be there. So if there was a million, that's 10 million. That's almost half the population.
I reckon even more. I really do. And I think, I'm just saying to everybody, especially look, you are the best out there, and I've got a lot of great friends out there that
No,
are doing
no.
what you're doing. And I don't say that lightly. It's because the continuous and the focus that you do, and I think this time round, if we did gather, it would be we're taxpayers. You're either in or you're out. You're either in with us and you're out. And if you're not, we'll walk straight in there and drag you out and put you in our jails because taxpayers are it. Now, you don't need everybody, but you need a good third, and we had that. Now, we were there in Canberra. We just didn't realise and weren't battle hardened, but we are battle hardened. So I'm calling out to all you people, where was that? Where is that? Bring that back, because that's what we need right now. This is the cameras is just what it is. It's just the start of it all. And I don't know. I'll
Look,
go and try and inspire everybody, but
they're using the cameras everywhere. I even did a post to say my father doesn't have an email. His phone, he doesn't use facial recognition on his phone. So if they've got facial recognition that knows what my father is and his details, how'd they get that? People said, oh, it's from his license. No, you want to get AI, you have to scan it. They want to scan this side of your face, this side of your face, up and down. You have to do this round thing to scan your face. My dad's never done that. So how have they got his facial recognition and his ID?
What do you know about?
He hasn't given them his permission ever. So they stolen.
So the biometrics. So what do you know about the biometrics? Because I heard something about the supermarkets, and you can actually claim nearly $5,000 Australian from the biometrics that they've collected or something. Do you know anything about that?
No, I haven't heard that. I did hear that they were getting in trouble. That they got in trouble.
That's why.
Yeah, and I think it's disgusting. I mean, they're getting rid of but basically in those places, our elderly people work who, don't have enough super. You see a lot of older ladies, or they used to work the tills. And then our young kids, this is one of their first jobs, This is the social sort of contract that Coles and Woolies had with the Australian public. Now they just want to get rid of everybody. And now everybody is treated like a thief. Instead of saying, oh, we do have some shoplifters, so we're going to treat everyone like a potential shoplifter. So we're going to bring you all down, reduce all your worth, make you feel like you're a person who needs to be constantly watched and guarded, because
and employ less of you. Sorry, and employ less of you as well.
Less of you, and not charge you any more for it. So you're going to do the work of the people we sacked and get no benefit for it.
And we made billions of dollars, but we didn't give you guys didn't even give you guys not even 2 cents of a pay rise. No, that's fine. That's fine. I hope that wakes the people up. I really, really do. But it is that third, so don't worry about the others. We got to worry about ourselves and going, right, we need to knock this out of the park. We really do need to knock this out of the park. And this example of the AI is so. I mean, even it got into the car. It was.
I know.
It was so intrusive.
I got a phone by it too. I think a year ago, so it must have been the same thing. It was mobile phone. I definitely wasn't holding it, but they got it, and that's in the bus. So but flipping the bird. This is the thing, because this is larrikin Australians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a part of our culture here. We flip the bird.
It's not actually a rude scenario. It's not a personal rude. It's more of a very disappointing. Your behaviour is not good enough. As a taxpayer, you get a number one salute if your behaviour being failure. Sorry.
That's right. It's a number one salute.
Look, I've got to let you know. I've got bedtime stories to tell, but I want to let you know, I really do want to talk with you off here and maybe in the future about your future and what we're talking about with where I was before 2020. Sure. So, and to do this and really, because we can bring the bell, all these people can bring the bells and whistles.
Sorry, what was that last part you said?
People like all of us can bring the bells and whistles to do better than what the current media is doing, really. Really,
Yeah.
at the moment, we're sitting in the car, and I apologise, but I think there is too much to share. There's too much cream information that they're leaving alone that, mate, we're going to capitalise off. And I think this AI stuff is too much, and I think everybody. I know how you feel. I know how this is, and I'm hoping maybe with that to you can inspire people. But I'll also make sure that, hang on, well, that's I'll keep you updated about if this goes to court, and if it does, maybe this is our battleground. Maybe this is a great
I'm thinking
example to
more.
test the question.
Because
Sorry?
to be honest, you've got a robot, you've got an AI, whatever it is, a robot
Yeah,
chastising you, a human.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, exactly.
it's like your
If you
dog
want to
going, "Hey, you just gave me the bone and kept the meat." You know, it's yeah, because you're the dog, mate.
exactly right, and I mean, if the justice system wants to
Oh,
do
that's
things
great.
by the book, if the justice system want to do things by the book, then let's make sure that they do things by the book, because all of us know they're not running from our book of law at the moment. So, or the question,
Yeah,
there is a question, there is an unproven question that may be the case. So there's a lot
yeah.
more to update in the future. But there you go, mate. That's me.
Just
Both
want to
hands
see
on the
Gail
steering
here.
wheel.
So go
Pardon?
just hey Gail, I'll just before I get to your comment, Gail, I'm just going to show this. So the people coming on now, this is Johnny. He's the Aussie driver fined 661 for giving AI mobile phone detection camera the finger. Terrible man. What was he thinking? But Gail has come out and said you could claim it's part of your cultural heritage. That's true.
I love
That
you,
is part of our
Gail.
cultural heritage.
I wish you all the fortune in the world, Gail, and may God protect everything that you do, love, and need. There
You
you
a
go.
lawyer,
That's
Gail?
awesome. Look, I've got to tie my hands up, Michael, or else they get in the screen, you know. So,
That's right. It's
uh,
Italian. What are you going to do? You
yeah,
know. So
mate, this has
yeah,
been the best time to catch up with you. I've really, mate, it's been
yeah, it
fantastic.
has,
It
man. Oh,
really
I was
has.
so lucky when you called because I was going to talk about. I really feel I'm going to say it now. We've spent 5 years of facts, 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 facts. There's a part of the population we are not going to get on our side. I'm not saying
No,
wake up. I don't think they're asleep, but they're
no.
not joining us. The government has the jobs, the guns, uh, and so they're thinking you guys got nothing. They're not going to join us. As simple as that. There's the mob,
Which is
the really
gutless.
important mob is the other third you talked about between us. Now, if we could get some of them across to us where they go, do you really want to live like this? Do you really want to live that there's a camera everywhere watching everything you friggin' do? And not because they're a fan, but just because they're expecting you to do something bad and they've got every second way. You ever been in a relationship where you can do nothing right? You know those relationships
Oh yeah,
you
those
can't
ones.
do
Yeah, yeah,
anything right. You just can't. That's what AI is like. They're expecting you to do something wrong, so it's just watching you constantly. And
yeah. Right.
I hate it.
Look,
I wish that the Blade Runners here going around chopping all these cameras down. You know, I don't
this
know.
actually, this whole experience has really empowered me and inspired me to really like I'm wrapped like in a way. I'm a bit embarrassed that that's gone that far, but it has. It's gone ridiculous. It's got over, even from my post, it's got over a million. It said it had over a million different types of reaches. But that's embarrassing. But the
Oh
point
man, it
is,
was being shared like it was like shared like crazy. You know, you went so
well,
far. We're going to need a vaccine against you.
yeah, well,
Take
look,
the Johnny vaccine, safe and effective. You won't get
right,
it'll stop him
that's right.
flipping the bird.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, it is. Look, look, Australia, Victoria is my paradise. Melbourne is my paradise, and I'm going to
Yeah,
fight for my paradise. And I will.
yeah,
I am heading into Melbourne on next Wednesday, because I will be there, and I will be sharing a appropriate, without any profanities, because friends of mine go, we love what you're doing, but it broke my heart that you're swearing. I didn't realise you swore, because I didn't in front of them. I'm
yeah.
like,
I get
wow.
all of that.
So, and that's another thing, Michael. Don't underestimate the work and how far you get. and the types of people that do listen to you. And I realize that because
Thanks, brother.
I didn't realize these people that I really admired listened to my stuff but didn't tell me, and then told me, we loved it, but you're swearing, it really upset us. And to me, in respect, if I'm going to speak to people who want to listen, not just to me, just to how I'm feeling, I'm assuming that's how they are, then I'm going to do it appropriately. So on Wednesday, Parliament House, 12 o'clock, I'm going to be there, and I've got something to say. And if anyone else wants to join us, you have your turn too.
Parliament House.
Victoria.
Donna might go. Donna from Mantra Moments. I don't know if she's working. 12 o'clock, Parliament House. Yep.
There was a rant. I don't know if you saw that rant I did before, but the last time I turned up to assemble to arrest. If it's purely symbolic or to do it. And I say that because I turned up because I asked for 100,000. Well, 99,998 short, right? But so I let it rip, and I said, "So where are you? Don't you care about?" "Oh, I'm just going to power, right?" And it's echoing. I didn't realise that they build these buildings because it echoes, and it echoed straight down the street and bounced in the walls and on the Parliament House. It's going straight. They can hear it. So, and then the next time I did it with a lot cleaner, and didn't get as many, but it's still powerful. And the police knew. They knew what I was doing. They were walking over, and they said the only thing we didn't like or were worried about is that you were swearing. And there was a school group, and you'll see it, right? There was a school group, and they said they were going to stop. But then when they walked over, the teacher got the school group to sit down and watch what I was doing. So they said, "We left you alone. Just, we were just hoping you wouldn't swear as much." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, no worries, I get it." So a school group, and this is no joke. You see them, they're standing there, and they sit down, and they're listening to me going just absolutely bonkers, saying, "Where are you? We're here to save the kids." Oh, that's why. Because I was saying about the kids. So, because when it gets down to it, it's their future that we're letting slip away. So maybe
we are already selling off their liberty.
Yeah.
Our grandchildren will be born into, or our great-grandchildren will be born into a world that we built for them. We're almost enslaving them. There's a good chance, I just watched this thing on China. I was actually going to restream it. It's a documentary of a young guy living in China with his Chinese girlfriend. And he said in China, silence is not a way of life. It's a survival strategy. You just
and that's what's getting
you say
that's
nothing.
what will happen here if we're not careful, yeah? So you're saying?
So you've got all these people saying China's great, there's no issues, everything's great. But you listen to this documentary, and this guy's literally saying, and I've heard it from another Chinese person that we did an interview with, you've just got to stay silent. You've got to put on a passive face as though there's nothing wrong, and you hide underneath. And I think a lot of Australians are already doing that. We're apprentice communists already. That's what they do. Don't talk about anything.
And that's what's so scary.
Right.
That is absolutely what frightens me. And I think, those guys to give up, I think we do need to look at, I feel personally that maybe my days, I might need to sacrifice for everybody else's future, or my kids' future especially. And I think we need to stand up and sacrifice that day to go off and assemble to arrest or what. I'm going too far now, Michael. I'm going to have to slow down a bit. But
it's hard, because we don't know. We've got after 5 years, and we're exasperated. And there's, like I was talking to Michael Ginsberg the other day. I said, we've clearly caught them out lying about COVID and the COVID jab. I mean, it's clear now that COVID came from a Wuhan lab, was engineered. It's clear that they had the vaccine way before COVID was released. So they'd already made it. They'd already had it. It's clear that it wasn't safe and effective. It's clear that it's really dodgy. We already know this. And yet but the knowing doesn't change anything.
Is this real?
Why aren't you guys screaming or ranting and raving or demanding justice? Instead, they just placidly go on. And now digital ID's here. And honestly, you go to the supermarket, do you see any signs, no digital ID? Anyone wearing a no digital ID t-shirt? Everyone's just moving through their life like Henry's house.
They're like in a trance, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a trance, mate. It's pretty scary.
And,
But
and the people contact me like yourself and other people in the movement. I get it every day. They go, I'm screaming, Michael. I'm screaming inside. I'm losing it. I feel like I'm going crazy.
This is what I'm thinking.
It's around me.
Stop
Everyone's
them.
just saying,
No. It's up to us. And they're not the enemy, mate. They're not the enemy, unfortunately, right?
no.
But it is up to us. And they're in history, and not like got anything to do with that, but in history, it's a third of the people that made the difference in either positive or negative, but I hate to say it, right? And we need to make a difference, and we need to do things that we need to be prepared to do things that we're not willing to do. And that's not violence, but that's lawful action. And we need to look, I mean, this digital ID, this AI camera, for that, look, it wasn't like that, because I had to have my hands on the steering wheel.
It's like a sideways one. The
and I can be talking
to each other. I can always reach you.
I mean, I could be talking to you saying, I just can't believe the government is doing it that badly. You know, I just can't, and I'm trying to explain that my hands are on the steering wheel. I'm doing the same.
Which way are we going? Are we turning left or are we turning right? Tell us. You know?
It's exactly right. I mean, the government has made it so stressful that my hands are gone like that because I'm stressing about what the government's done, and now they're fining me for it.
They're frozen in that position.
Mate,
it's the Dan Andrews effect. Ever since Dan Andrews taken power, my fingers are stuck. I don't know why.
It's a syndrome. It's like, oh, of course, because
syndrome.
It's like that new it's like that new syndrome. What's it called? Sudden adult syndrome. That's what I think of that. Sorry. I mean, sudden adult syndrome. They tried to push that.
Great question. Why the dollar? Why not 660? Why 661? Why the dollar?
Maybe I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can waste my question in court about that one. But yeah, I might turn around. Pretty interested is what? Yeah, $61. I mean, you can at least round it down to one. I mean, it's already go. It's like you get 3 points for speeding and less. You know, I wasn't speeding. I had my hands on. Look, this is ridiculous. It's a comedy. They're sitting up there. In Parliament. Going, look at this next law we're going to put through. Right, we're going to put this next law, and watch. They're not going to do anything. It's going to be like we're going to take money out of your super. Actually, you know what? Let's check this other law. Right, we're going to create this law. It's called unrealised gains because we don't know what we're doing. And we're going to pass it.
Look at the other crazy thing, right? The government is going to spend $1 billion of our money. Now, we already owe $1 trillion to who? Who the fuck do we? We don't know. Anyway, for now, they're spending $1 billion on a climate change summit in Adelaide, even though Bill Gates, the MSN isn't covered, Bill Gates himself has come out and said climate change is no longer an issue for the foreseeable future. The architect of it all has just come out and said it's not an issue, and we're spending $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Pointless.
$1 billion. 999,999,999 plus one.
That's why
$1 billion.
That's why they need $1 from you. They need that to reach the $1 billion. They can't have the summit unless you pay the dollar of that fine.
See, I told you they're criminals. This is a joke to them. They're laughing right now at my misfortune. I'm getting blind blood vessels.
They're watching this going, ha, ha,
ha. Oh, mate. Look, I need to go. You are so
Johnny,
much fun listening. Hey?
Johnny, we're about the same vintage, right? I'm probably a bit older than you, but now we grew up with Paul Hogan. Yeah. What the hell would Paul Hogan make of this, man? If Paul Hogan was at his prime, at his
prime. He'd be in jail right now.
He'd be
in jail for what he's done right. What about Leo Wanker? Paul Hogan's skateboard. I think
he'd be in Nicholas.
I think that was Dan Andrews. I think Dan Andrews is actually Leo Wanker. But
$1 transaction fee, says Brad. That's probably it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The big question is, and this is what floors me and everyone I talk to, why the great majority of people, I'm not talking about the people watching now, but
Yeah.
why this great herd just will not do anything. They do things like, even when it first came out, I still remember actors and other, because I was in that field, they're going, oh, we were never free. And I was thinking, well, I was free. I was bloody free. I could say what I want. I could go where I want. I could do what I want. I was free.
Yeah.
They were saying we'll
Yeah.
never. And what they were saying was the government's changing the rules, and I am not going to fight them. So, oh, we were never free. That's what that means. It means
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to fight for my freedom.
Yeah.
And so
It's like life's. It's like the Homer Simpson and the pig. It's only a little bit wet. That's these people saying, "Oh, life's only a little bit wet. So it's still okay. It's still okay," until it gets to the point. And the thing is, I thought about this because we came from living to the bush and living out there on the bush and from the trees, so to speak, in history. Okay, so if you want to see it that way, so maybe some of these people, like the first third, will be happy to live in the bush and know nothing because they're just a pack of hopeless eaters that don't bother about anybody else. If you don't care about anybody else, no one's going to care about you. You're going to be left out in the cold. So the third that we're all a part of need to do a lot more caring about each other, become a lot more powerful, and work in a way that we are taxpayers, like the ruling government. God bless you all.
That's actually a good point. But Bill Lober says maybe you could tell him you've got finger Tourette's.
Oh, that's good too.
That's really good.
That is good.
Sorry,
That could
Judge,
be
I can't help it, Judge. I can't help it. Sorry, Judge. What are you playing? Guilty. Sorry, Judge. It's finger Tourette's.
I mean, I'm up to my 14th jab. I'm pretty sure I'll go. I'm pretty sure I can cure cancer. Sorry, people might get upset about even that. Sorry, I apologise if the finger's up in the air like that. I'm just sorry, but some people do. But it does. Apparently, it can cure cervical cancer. So, what? Oh, put this AI camera for your safety. No, that's not for my safety because I'm doing the speed limit. My hands are on the steering wheel. I'm looking straight ahead saying, how stupid are these speed cameras? And bang! And they've gone, oh, there's something on your lap. I'm not looking at my lap, my friends. And I'm getting more fines and more points than what a speeding reckless driver gets. So I'm gonna give that to the Almighty Heavenly Father. That's a really good thing to give all your worries to him. It's amazing. But anyway, I am, and maybe we should do a Paul Hogan type format and see what happens regarding how these people are messing around and being so incompetent with taxpayers' money. You shouldn't have to be doing it. You shouldn't be having to be doing this because you pay taxes, so you have a livability lifestyle and well-being.
At the moment, I don't know about, but right up now, I'm all paid up, and people go, "Oh, you're on the dole." Yeah, I'm not on the dole. I make my own living. So how is your
livability? How is your livability lifestyle and well-being, my friend? I mean, really, compared to where it should be.
I'm richer in other ways. You know what I mean?
I get that.
In life, and I've never been that materialistic, but you know what I mean? Like everybody, the whole country is really struggling for money at the moment.
That's right.
They're really worrying where it's going. Part of me thinks maybe if it gets a lot harder, and once people start going, my kids are starving now, maybe they'll rise up then because the social contract, they're not getting anything for it. They're working.
I think there's definitely going to be a rise up.
They can't afford a house and their kids are starving. So why work? What's the point? What's the point of society if they're not getting anything from it? You know,
especially look. I think it's great that they've put. I think it's great they've put bovine stuff in our meat because now we get. I've liked infused wines. Now we've got infused cans of meat, and let's go promote that. I mean, where's this world coming to, Michael? What's going on? I don't want to eat cancer-infused meat. Meat already gives you cancer enough in the first place. Why do I have to do that? Cows can fart. It's okay. It was really funny when you like.
They said cows don't fart. That's a myth. Someone told me the other day that cows don't fart. It's a myth, so I don't know. What I do know is that the cows now, I think it's in Europe, the cows have been documented of dying from this anti-fart Bovair. They're actually dying of it. And you think of the dying of it, oh, that's terrible. But we're eating the cows that survived, and it's still in their system. I don't want to eat that cow.
No.
You know?
So taxpayers.
No, I
Hello.
don't.
Right wing,
I
not
don't.
left wing. We're all the same. We've got a kids. Oh my gosh.
That's why when you go out somewhere and you see something that says grass-fed beef, and you're thinking, well, what the fuck else is it going to eat? You're not going to feed it hamburgers. You know, it's just madness how they're selling shit to us now. You know, but I still feel with is a chance. I think digital ID. I think is going to go through. I can't see how we can stop it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I
I
don't.
know there's a high court challenge
Well,
with Ruddock in charge. I wish him the best. But if it goes through, I do wonder if it'll piss people off so much that this might start something really happening. You know, we might see a real
maybe that's my Wednesday broadcast. That's my Wednesday. That'll be me Wednesday at 12 o'clock out front of Victoria Parliament House to let people know that it's coming. And then the 10th, I might even fly to Canberra the last week of November because Federal Parliament sits in the last week of November as well. Wouldn't that be an idea? We could all just fly this time and just take over and go with taxpayers.
Yeah.
No.
I just want to say this from Kim. Cows have 2 stomachs and don't fart, they burp. Thanks, Kim.
Oh, really? Because I was going to try and prove it. No, I won't say about lighting farts because apparently it looks really funny. It does. At training camps, we used to do that for lacrosse. Don't worry. That's another story. But farts are pretty. But look, mate, I need to speak to you a bit later, but I've got to get. I really love this, but I know.
Thank you for coming in. It's been a great show, man. That's an hour. That's more than a bet. We're going to go out with this new song, Mary Magdalene, which is my favorite at the moment. Man, you rule. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's stay in contact. I think
we will, mate.
It's good. It's just time, man. And think
mate, we'll organise. Let's all organise our very own private little summit of some sort in what we were talking about before, because we're going to need that.
When you're free, you're not in your car and you've got some time, let's have another show. Talk about the world, man. You've got a good voice. It's fun to banter with you.
Mate, it's been great to chat to you too. And also, I don't usually do this, but yeah, mate, I love the effort, the stress, the skill, and the decorum you betray out there. So God bless you, mate, and everything you do. So thanks again.
No worries, Johnny. I'm just going to say to the other people, I did put a nude picture of me and Kelly up. Some people think Kelly wasn't a part of that. She was. We put it up because what we see, Australia is sexless. There's not enough frigging people striding around as if they could be a good fuck, basically. They're not walking around like, hey, girls, look at me. You might not be interested in me, but I'm there. They're not there. And it's just like this sexless, safe, puritanical bullshit silence we're moving into. So we put that up because, well, we don't want to comply with that either. So we put it up there to go, F you. We're here and we want to be vibrant and sexy and fun and alive. That's why we do it.
That's right. Oh. And it's there you go. Right on. And it's all about human evolution too. It's how we make babies. It's how it all happens. One and one makes.
That's it.
It's the reason why we're here. Men and women have had babies for many, many years. Not men.
Right.
Anyway, look, thanks, mate. We'll speak very soon.
Yeah, I love you, brother. You take care. Be in touch.
Right,
this is Mary Magdalene. Have a great night. Roman will be back soon. She's just having a break, as we all are. This is Mary Magdalene. Now, Jelly, before you go, if you've got someone in your life, listen to this song. It's for sale on Cafe Locked Out now. You listening, Australia? You can make love to this song for hours. Have a listen to it. It is a great song.
I wanted to find a lover who made me forget the universe. brother made the universe feel like it was starting within. I wanted to find a lover I could paint a picture with, and our paint would be each other, and our hues would be alive. But I've been offered love in poetry, psychoanalyzed to the bone. I've been broken and consecrated, I've been discarded in the thorns. I've been searching in all the wrong places, for I felt that that's where you'd be found. Or am I the one that's reaching like a weed, escaping the ground? And if I find you, will the universe fall away? And when I ask you, are you the one for me, will you say, look at me, until you can see that I am who I am? I am Mary Magdalene. I wanna find a lover to illuminate my empty streets, and who would dance in the radiance like you discovered our escape. I wanna find that lover who is out there looking for me. Surely there has to be, surely there has to be. I wanna find a lover, that's why I'm falling into you. 'Cause you, it seems, are falling just as deeply into me. You, it seems, are falling just as deeply into me. Have you noticed? The universe is gone, I can feel it in our joints, struggling to begin. And when I ask you, are you the one for me? Look at me, you'll say, look at me until you can see that I am who I am. I am Mary Magdalene.